Okay, so have you ever, imagined like finding a real time capsule, like a piece of racing history, but hidden away for decades?
Oh, yeah, like tucked away in a barn or something.
Exactly. Well, that's what happened with this Jaguar E-Type.
An E-Type.
Yeah, but not just any E-Type. This one is known as the missing lightweight.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's so special about this missing lightweight?
Well, for starters, it's one of only 12 lightweight E-Types ever built.
Wow, okay, so we're talking super rare.
Yeah, yeah, super rare. They were built for speed, right? So they had a body made of aluminum to, make them lighter and faster on the track.
Ah, makes sense. So like a stripped down pure racing machine.
Exactly. And get this, each one was practically hand built. So every single one's like a piece of racing history.
I can see why they'd be so sought after then. So where do we even begin with this deep dive? What kind of sources do we have to work with?
Oh, we've got some really cool stuff for this one. We've got um, some firsthand accounts and even photos from someone who actually saw the car at a race back in 1999.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Right. And we also have this incredibly detailed article that dives into the whole history of the car.
That's great. So we've got a bit of a personal perspective and then the hard facts to back it up.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
and what makes this even more exciting is that the lightweight E-types, they were already legendary in the racing world, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, to find one, period, would be incredible. But to find one that had vanished for decades, that's like a dream come true for any car enthusiast.
Right. It's like, where has it been? What condition is it in?
And of course, the big question is, why was it hidden away for so long?
Exactly. So we're going to try and unravel this whole mystery together. We'll uncover all its racing triumphs. We'll meet the kind of mysterious owner who kept it hidden, and we'll follow its incredible journey back to the racetrack.
Sounds like quite a ride. Where do we start?
Okay, so let's jump right into the discovery, all right? So it's 1998, and the missing lightweight, it's discovered tucked away in a garage after its owner, a guy named Howard Jadovlenko, he passed away.
Okay. So this car had been sitting there for a while then.
For a while, it was hidden away for 35 years.
35 years. Whoa. And no one knew.
Nope, no one.
I bet that discovery sent shockwaves through the collector car world, like finding a lost masterpiece or something.
Absolutely, it was huge news. So Jadovlenko, he had owned this car for 35 years, but he never raced it during that time. He just stored it.
That's wild. What was he waiting for?
Yeah, that's the mystery. And get this.
Yeah.
He'd even started making modifications to the car.
Yeah.
Like he was getting it ready to race.
Really? So it wasn't like he just forgot about it or something. He had a plan for it.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where it gets even more interesting. Jadovlenko, he was an RAF pilot during World War II.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Royal Air Force. And he used his knowledge of aircraft technology to strengthen the car, like using even more aluminum.
So this guy was serious about his racing. He wasn't just tinkering around.
No, not at all. He even bought all these spare parts, camshaft blanks, brake sets. He even had spare clutches. 3 sets of those special lightweight Dunlop racing wheels. I mean, he prepped this car. It was ready to go, and then nothing.
So he was all set to go, but then just changed his mind. That's strange.
That's what we're trying to figure out, right? But before we get too deep into Jadovlenko's story, let's rewind a bit.
Yeah, good idea. Let's look at the car's early days on the track.
All right, so take us back to the beginning. When did this car first hit the racing scene?
Okay, so the first 2 lightweight E-types, they were kind of rushed into production to compete in the 1963 12 Hours of Sebring.
Oh, Sebring. Legendary race.
Exactly. It's this endurance race in Florida. One of those cars, it was sold to Briggs Cunningham.
Big name in American racing.
Yeah, a legend. And the other one was sold to Jaguar, who was, at the time, Jaguar's West Coast importer.
Okay, and so this is where our missing lightweight comes in.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd one ever made.
You got it. Number 3. Imagine the excitement as those cars arrived from England, ready to take on the world.
It must have been incredible to see.
There was one little problem, though. Both Cunningham's car and Covale's car, they had the same racing livery, white and blue.
Hold on. What's a livery?
Oh, sorry. It's the color scheme and the design on a race car. Like, think of it as the team uniform. So at Sebring, they had to find a way to tell the 2 cars apart on the track.
Makes sense. So what do? Just slap on a racing stripe or something?
Even better, they found a can of red paint, and they gave Covale's car a quick makeover right there in a Sebring hangar.
Whoa. Talk about a last-minute paint job.
I know, right? It wasn't just a cosmetic change either. It kind of marked the beginning of this car's, this unique story.
Yeah, talk about making history on the fly. So how'd the missing lightweight do in his first big race? Did that red paint bring him luck?
It was a stunning debut. It took first place in its class at Sebring, even finishing ahead of Cunningham's car.
Wow, beating a legend like Cunningham right out of the gate. That's impressive.
Yeah, and they even outpaced some of the Ferraris. I mean, that's a big deal. That Sebring victory was actually its best performance in a major race, so it really solidified its reputation as a true contender.
Amazing. And this is where we meet our mystery man, right? Howard Judovlenko.
Yeah, so after Sebring, the missing lightweight had another race at Laguna Seca in California where it came in, I think, 8th place, a respectable finish. Then it was put up for sale, and that's when Judovlenko comes in.
So this is when the missing lightweight finds its way into the hands of our mystery man. Judovlenko sees this car, this winning car, and what does he do? He buys it for $5,000.
$5,000. That was a significant chunk of change back then.
It was. And immediately he starts ordering spare parts, all those parts we talked about.
Huh.
I mean, this guy, he was clearly passionate about racing, and he saw the potential in this already legendary car.
Yeah, he was ready to really make his mark with the E-Type.
He was. But then, as he's gearing up for his racing debut, it all stops. The car ends up in storage, untouched for the next 35 years.
And that's where the mystery deepens. What could have made someone with such passion and dedication suddenly abandon their racing dreams? What happened?
It's a great question, right? This is where it gets really interesting. I mean, we're talking, 3.5 decades, right? This incredible race car, prepped and ready to go, and then poof, vanishes into a garage.
Yeah, it's wild. So many questions. Was it like a sudden change of heart, financial troubles maybe, or was it something else entirely?
Who knows? It's a real head scratcher.
And it only gets more intriguing when you think about what happened next. So fast forward to 1998, the missing lightweight, it's rediscovered, almost perfectly preserved, like a time capsule, basically.
Wow, can you imagine the family's surprise? I mean, they knew their dad had this old Jaguar, but I bet they had no idea it was this Jaguar.
Oh, they were definitely stunned. And word of the discovery spread like wildfire. Before you know it, collectors, dealers, Jaguar experts, they were all knocking on the family's door, wanting to get a look at this legendary car.
I bet their phone was ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
So what did they do? Did they just sell it right away?
Luckily, they were pretty smart about it. They reached out to Terry Larson.
Terry Larson.
Yeah, one of the top experts on classic Jaguars. He helped them, authenticate the car and figure out the best way to sell it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're dealing with a car this valuable, this historically significant, you want someone who knows what they're doing.
For sure. So they decided to go with an auction. RM Auctions in Monterey, California.
Monterey. That's like a mecca for car enthusiasts, especially during those classic car events. So how did the auction go? Did the car live up to the hype?
Oh, it was huge. The anticipation was palpable. Everyone wanted to see this missing lightweight in person. I mean, think about it. This car had only 2,663 miles on it.
Wow.
Basically, it traveled more by plane than it did on the road.
That's crazy low mileage, even for a regular car, let alone a race car.
Right. It really shows you just how limited but intense its racing career was. And then all those years just sitting in that garage. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The car, it had these rough patches of bare aluminum on the body.
Rough patches. That's a little strange. Didn't you say that Judovlenko was really meticulous about maintaining the car?
He was, and that's what made those patches so puzzling. Later on, some family members, they kind of concluded that those rough spots, they were probably the result of a divorce settlement, actually.
What?
Apparently, Judovlenko, he intentionally scuffed up the car to make it seem less valuable during the divorce proceeding.
Ooh, that's a pretty desperate move. Yeah. Can you imagine the stories this car could tell?
Right. It's incredible. But even with those scuff marks, the missing lightweight was still the star of the show. It ended up selling for, get this, $872,050.
Wow. That's an incredible return on a $5,000 investment.
Talk about a valuable piece of history.
Can you imagine what the emotions must have been like at that auction? The history, the mystery, the drama of it all?
It must have been pretty intense. I mean, it shows you the enduring value of these rare, historically significant cars,
Absolutely. So what happened next? What did the new owner do with the car? Did they decide to restore it back to pristine condition, like it just rolled off the factory floor?
Yeah.
Or did they keep it as it was with all its little imperfections kind of as a testament to its journey?
They chose a really interesting path, actually. They decided on a careful refurbishment.
Never percent.
Yeah, so they address any necessary repairs while still maintaining the car's authenticity.
So a delicate balancing act,
Hmm.
honoring its history, but also ensuring its future.
Exactly. So they entrusted this delicate task to the expert team at Lynx Motors in England.
Lynx Motors. Okay.
Yeah, and they were meticulous, you
Yeah.
know. They blended new paint with the original faded paintwork, creating this seamless finish that really respected the car's past. Do you remember how we mentioned the original paint had faded to 3 different shades over the years?
Yeah, I remember that. That must have been tricky to match.
It was, but they pulled it off. They even discovered some stress fractures in the suspension.
Stress fractures from just sitting in storage.
No, from just 2 races.
2 races. Wow, that really shows you how hard these cars were driven.
Absolutely. These machines were built to be pushed to their limits, and it took a toll. So during the refurbishment, they reinforced the structure, added a modern fuel cell for safety, and installed some extra gauges to monitor fuel pressure and oil temperature. But get this, the entire refurbishment, it took just 3 months.
3 months. That's incredible. They must have been working around the clock.
Hmm.
But I'm sure they didn't cut any corners.
Not a single one. It was a meticulous process, and the results, they spoke for themselves. The missing lightweight was finally ready to return to the track. And in March 1999, 36 years after its historic victory at Sebring, it was back, even sporting its original number 23.
Wow. Talk about a homecoming. That must have been such an emotional moment for everyone involved.
It was. And to make it even more special, Mason Taylor himself, the new owner, he got behind the wheel to compete in the vintage races.
So how did it perform after all those years?
Well, it was up against some tough competition, some more modern vintage cars. But the missing lightweight, it held its own, finishing third overall and get this, first in its class.
That's amazing. It's like the car was just born to race.
Yeah. But the real emotional high point, it came a few months later. When the missing lightweight returned to Laguna Seca for the Monterey historic races, the same track where it had raced way back in 1963.
Wow, what a full circle moment. What was it about that race that made it so special?
Well, Ed Leslie, the very same driver who piloted the car to its class victory at Sebring in '63, he was there. And he got to ride along for parade laps as Mason Taylor drove the car around the track.
Oh, wow. To experience this car come back to life after all those years, I can't even imagine what that must have felt like for him.
It really it shows you that powerful connection between these cars and the people who drove them, the memories, the emotions, the history.
Yeah. So how did the missing lightweight do in that race at Laguna Seca?
It faced a field of newer, more powerful cars, but it still managed a respectable 12th place finish.
Not bad at all. I mean, this story, it's about so much more than just race results, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about rediscovering a piece of history, preserving its legacy, and then sharing it with the world.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the passion and dedication of everyone who played a part in bringing the missing lightweight back to life. And it really makes you wonder, what would you do if you found a time capsule like this?
I mean, would you go all out and restore it to like perfect condition, like you just came off the assembly line?
Mhm.
Or would you want to keep it as is with all its, its little quirks and imperfections as a kind of a reminder of everything it's been through?
That's a tough one. It really makes you think about how we value history, right?
Yeah.
And the choices we make in preserving it. In the case of the missing lightweight, it seems like the new owner, they really found that balance. They took care of what needed to be fixed, but they kept that connection to its past.
And it sounds like they weren't afraid to let it race again, which is pretty amazing. I mean, not just, stick it in a museum somewhere.
Yeah, right. I mean, this car, it was made to be driven, to be pushed to its limits. It's fantastic that it's still out there, competing and thrilling audiences just like it did back in the day.
It really does make you think about all the what ifs surrounding this car and its owner, Jitavlenko. I mean, what if he hadn't put it in storage? What if he'd kept racing? Could it have, achieved even greater fame out there on the track?
We'll never know for sure, but those what ifs, they're part of what makes this whole story so captivating, right? It's a reminder that that history, it's full of these tantalizing possibilities, these paths not taken.
It's true. And it makes you wonder what was going through Ditalenko's mind all those years. It was, tucked away in his garage? Was it just a practical thing, or was there something more to it? Maybe he just, lost interest in racing, or maybe life just, got in the way.
Yeah. It's the beauty of a mystery like this. It sparks our imagination, It
Right.
makes us want to fill in the blanks. And honestly, sometimes it's okay not to have all the answers. The mystery itself, it becomes part of the car's allure, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just Konovlenko's story that's so intriguing. I mean, imagine if Jeffrey hadn't stumbled upon that car at Laguna Seca back in '99. Would the missing lightweight still be, hidden away? Would its story still be untold?
It's a chilling thought, really. I mean, this incredible piece of racing history could have been lost forever. It really highlights the role of chance,
Yeah.
and serendipity in uncovering the past.
It's true. It's a good reminder that sometimes the most amazing discoveries, they're closer than we think, just waiting to be unearthed. For those listening who want to see more of this story, I highly recommend checking out Jeffrey's photos of the missing lightweight from that day at Laguna Seca.
Oh yeah, those photos they're amazing. Like a window into a pivotal moment in time, really. And if this deep dive has piqued your interest in the lightweight E-types, I definitely encourage you to explore further. I mean, each one of those 12 cars, they all have their own unique story to tell, full of triumphs and challenges and just larger than life characters.
It's pretty amazing to think about these cars,
Mhm.
these mechanical marvels, still out there, still capturing our imaginations all these years later. This was a story of rediscovery and dedication and the thrill of seeing racing history come alive. And it all started with a chance encounter in a dusty old garage. Who knows what other treasures are out there waiting to be found, right?